wanted to make a video because I thought about a lot of things over this weekend, over Shabbos, and first of all, it really bothered me very much that we went into Shabbos with the last video that I saw on my WhatsApp was a video of Eli Beer, who was saying that he had to be put under and he's gonna have to go through a lot of troubles and challenges. And I don't know him, I've never met him. He's the head of Hatzalah Israel. And you know, in this week's Parsha, it says that, in this week's Torah portion, it says that even if the Beis HaMikdash was burning, and even if a shul is burning, which is a small Beis HaMikdash, we're not allowed to do anything. But if one person is at risk of losing their life, we have to do anything we can, as many of us as it takes, without worrying about desecrating the Sabbath, to save that person. And although a lot of people are suffering, I felt that individually this one person really touched my heart, and I wish him all the refuah and feeling better and all that God can offer him as soon as possible. So throughout this coronavirus plague, or whatever you'd like to call it, I've noticed three things that I feel are positive, one thing that I feel is negative, and two things that I wanted to share that I learned from my rebi that I think apply. First of all, we talk about the idea of first of all, I think that it's an incredible gift from God that this is happening now in the time of social media, because while we're all self-quarantining and you know, a little overwhelmed by how alone we are, thank God we have that connection to the outside world. And I think it's a gift from God that I haven't really heard anybody mention, and I think it's worth noting. Second of all, I'd like to say how jealous I am of all these people that are looking for a minyan, for 10 people to pray with. I know we're not alone in this. I know that in the Muslim community, they're having challenges getting them not to pray as a group. I think it's a mistake to point fingers only at the Jews and say that we're doing this. Very many people are suffering this, and I commend everyone, and I'm so jealous because instead of looking at it as a fault, which is for them to figure out, and that's their challenge, from my perspective, I am so jealous of their desire to worship God on such a level that it's such a thing on the front of their mind. And I think that's worth mentioning. It has to wait for now, and that's clear. But I think that I've always been a believer in looking at somebody else and seeing what you could see that you can learn from to be impressed by. Thirdly, everybody's talking about social distancing, but nobody's mentioned something that I've noticed, a new phenomenon that I'd like to call family bonding. It's very interesting when you watch people walking down the street. So while you see people are avoiding other people, but people are walking closer together. Families, they're holding hands, they're huddling, and it's a really beautiful sight to see that while they're afraid of what's going on with the whole world, they're clustering and bonding with each other. And I think it's worth mentioning. The one thing I've seen that's negative that I'd like to mention is that I've seen people and big rabbis, leaders of communities talking all about how it is not the proper way, and certainly not the Jewish way, to hoard, to panic, to fearmonger. And I agree 100%, as scary as that is, to overdo it is just not helping. But there's something that I haven't seen anybody mention as of yet that seems so obvious to me. And that is that people are just saying whatever is on their mind. And I don't understand that. It's such a basic Jewish principle called Al Tiftach Peh LeSatan. Do not open up your mouth to Satan. When you say something, you bring the possibility of that reality into this world. You don't have to be the person that was right. You can think something, and if God forbid it happens, and you thought of it, so let it be. But don't have to feel the need to say, this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen. And if you really, really, really feel the need, keep it to your family, say it to your spouse, and even that is no good, because we believe that once something is said, once it leaves the mind and comes out of the mouth, then the Satan has a power to use that concept and implement it. And that's dangerous. What I would like to suggest is that we take this opportunity that right now, what we are right now in the midst of it. People are saying that this is going to be remembered as there was the pre-coronavirus days and the post-coronavirus days. And right now we're living in the middle of it. And just like there was pre-Holocaust, post-Holocaust, pre-Inquisition, pre-World Wars, post-World Wars, before giving of the Bible, and there's so many different things in history of the world. We believe this is going to be one of those things where it's going to be pre and post. And right now we are living in it. And instead of taking this opportunity to be scared and to scare, why don't we take this opportunity to consider the possibilities, to dream up the person you want to be, given this alternative future reality where you may be able to be that person, or you may be able to do this thing you've always wanted to do. Many of us have a lot of free time on our hands, and this would be a great opportunity, instead of seeing things in the darkest light possible, to consider for themselves what might be. Which leads me to my next step. My rebi, I don't think because of the light that you could see the picture very well, but my rebi, Rabbi Schultz, he was my best friend. He was like a father to me. He was everything to me. He passed away almost 3 years ago now, and I've learned so much from him. And I've always wanted to make some sort of memoir of all the things that I learned from him, and how he affected me, and the way he thought, because he was certainly the greatest man I've ever met. And what I was thinking is that I want to take this opportunity to begin doing that. I've been pushing it off for a while. I have a lot of notes, and I want to begin that this evening. And interestingly enough, the first thing that he always used to mention, not always used to mention, I apologize. The one thing that I learned from him, one of the things I learned from him was that, except obviously emergency situations excluded and things like that, as a general rule, the Yetzer Hara is now. The evil inclination says, I want it now. And the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination, always says, let's wait. Let's think about this. Let's consider our options. And ironically, right now we are in the let's wait period. When my Rebbe was teaching me this, he was saying it in reference, he said it could be applied to everything. If you're dating a girl and you're not sure if it's going to work or not, continue dating her. You'll either like her more or less, and then you'll know what to do. If you don't feel well, wait. You'll either feel worse or better, and then you'll know what to do. And you can apply this idea to pretty much everything. And here we are. I don't know if in his wildest dreams he would have guessed that this concept would have applied to a global pandemic where we are right now in the wait. This is our opportunity to show God that we have faith in him. I would go so far as to say that every second that we show we have faith is another mitzvah, is another commandment that we are accomplishing, that we get reward in the world to come for. Because We are not pre-coronavirus and we are not post. We are in the holding pattern. And as I've heard it said, kind of humorously, our grandparents were called to war. All that's being asked of us is to be called to our couches. At the same time, we have a lot of worry, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear. What's the future going to be? And I would suggest my Rebbe's words that we wait. That anything that we want in the now, which of course we would love for everything to be fixed, in the blink of an eye, everything should just be good. But as long as we do have this fear and this challenge, we should have faith to wait. And that is our job. And that was the first of many, that is one of many lessons I've learned from him, is that in general, when you're not sure what to do, wait a little, emergencies excluded, and things will either get better or worse. They never stay the same. And this has helped me with so many decisions in my life. Another thing I'd like to share that he taught me that I think applies nowadays and age, not only for a guy like me that needed to straighten out my act when I was a teenager, but pretty much for many, many, many people, is that in the morning, no matter how badly you want to sleep your day away, you need to get up in the morning, make your bed, put your slippers on the side of your bed, stand up. You can turn right around and get right back into bed for the rest of the day, but you need to begin the day. And that step, even though I wasn't the best at making my bed, really, really put me in the right path in life. The concept that no matter what you do or don't know that the day has in mind for you, or what schedule is now fouled up, or lack of plans, that now not only people that were a little wild, like when I was younger, but in general, this is a challenge everybody is going through. In the morning, you need to get out of bed, and you need to make your bed, and you need to get up. And if you really, really need to go back to sleep, do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that in the morning, on your regular schedule, as you've been doing until now, get out of bed. And then from there, no pressure. Just like my Rebbe never gave us pressure. I wish everybody who's sick a quick and speedy recovery. I wish the rest of us to keep calm and find peace and serenity in these times. And as a dear friend of mine told me, to accept that no matter what happens, God has in store for us more bliss and more joy and happiness than we could possibly think of and plan for ourselves. So accept the process, be very careful, and I would like to wish you all a good vach, a happy and healthy week.